Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are live. We are live with a special guest. We got MG from Talking Sports with MG NAS.
Yes, sir.
Um so you can go find his channel in the description. He's at like 560 subscribers. Go check
Mhm.
him out. But introduce yourself, my guy.
Hey, man, I'm a Eagles fan, Sixers fan, man, and I like baseball too. So I try to be all around guy, as you see on my channel. Try to show love to every team, but when it comes down to it, I bleed green. So that's what we
Yes.
do around here.
Yes, sir. So let me give a shout out to everyone who tuned in earlier. Lucas was
Mhm.
in here. He said, "Sorry, I won't be able to make the stream. I gotta practice, but just wanted to say sup." And he said, "Let's get to 230 by tonight." Yes, sir, man.
Mhm.
We're trying to get to there tonight, and then after that, we're trying to get to 240 and then 250.
Yep.
JDW is in here. Little H is in here. What's up, chat? Well, yeah, I think we can begin. So I'm gonna ask you your like how you became an Eagles fan first, and then I'm gonna
Okay.
just ask you some Sixers questions,
Gotcha.
because you are a Sixers fan, and then we'll go into the Birds. But how
Okay.
did you become an Eagles fan, MG?
Well, funny enough, my mom's a Cowboys fan. My dad's a Panthers fan. So me being the chance of me being an Eagles fan was low, but I am from the city of Philadelphia, so that helped. And honestly, I just love Michael Vick, Deshaun Jackson, LaShawn McCoy. They just they were my childhood. Like that's the first thing I could always think of. And then I was just just a young kid. And then in 2013, what made it clear and obvious I was the Eagles fan was the snow game versus the Lions. After that, it was it for me. Seeing us pull out that win, it was just amazing. So that's what honestly did it for me.
Sir, man, that's crazy. The fact that you became an Eagles fan when you probably shouldn't have been,
Hmm.
it's crazy because your mom's a Cowboys fan. I don't even know how I would. I don't know how that's possible. Your mom's a Cowboys fan and you're an Eagles fan.
Yep.
But yeah, I see a couple people hopping in the chat. Take time to like one more time. Goodman's up in here. Big Fridge is up in here. Emily's up in here.
Yes, sir.
What's up to all you guys? But yeah, let's go into some Sixers question, man. I'm not a Sixers fan, but I will ask you some Sixers questions to get your
Okay.
thoughts on them.
Okay.
So of course, it's the main topic of like the Sixers this offseason. Do you think the Sixers should trade Ben Simmons?
I think it's time. It's honestly time, in my personal opinion. Um, and when you look at the situation, the Sixers have tried to, make Ben Simmons a championship player since we drafted him. We've tried to make him turn into a superstar here in Philadelphia. We tried to make him, the perfect fit for Embiid, but it just hasn't worked out. And in Philadelphia, I mean, every player that's ever played here said this: you have to be tough mentally, and Ben Simmons doesn't show mental toughness enough to play here in Philadelphia. So honestly, I think the time is up, man. It's just that's what it is.
Yeah, I see. I see Goodman saying that how he doesn't know how I didn't become a Sixers fan. Man, I don't. I never really just like the Sixers because when I became an NBA fan, the Sixers really weren't in my interest.
Hmm.
I was more of a Lakers guy because that's the first team I watched.
Hmm.
When it comes to just like NBA, but yeah, that's how I became a Lakers fan. But going to the next question for the Sixers, do you think the Sixers should trade for Damian Lillard? Dame Dollar.
If we can, I mean, why not do it? I mean, I think that would make us a championship contender up there with the Bucks and the Brooklyn Nets in the Eastern Conference. I mean, you get a guy like Damian Lillard, who's a great playmaker, who's an elite 3-point shooter, can shoot from anywhere. He has a great mid-range shot. He can score at the rim, at the basket. And he's just an all-around offensive superstar. He has no flaws in the offensive game. Obviously, he's not the best defender, but he gives effort, and that's what you want in a superstar player. And you're putting a guy like that with his shooting ability and the playmaking ability, putting him next to Joel Embiid. I mean, I think that's just a match made in heaven when you look at the Sixers.
I completely agree with you. Bro, Arturo, do not call me that, bro. You disrespect Arturo, bro. I'm not that young, bro.
He's only like a half year younger than me. It's not like I'm that much older.
Exactly. I know on paper it may look like he's so much taller than me, which he is, but I'm not that young, bro. Yeah, I completely agree with you. Let me make sure for a second, but I completely agree with you. I feel like the Sixers will make so much sense for him. I
Hmm.
feel like the Sixers need a guy that can score in the clutch. Dame fits that role.
Hmm.
I would also love CJ McCollum for you, but I feel like Damian Lillard makes more sense for you guys because you guys need a player that can score in the clutch. He has no flaws in his game, which you said. And
Okay.
he's also a really good player when it comes to just like making uh plays that were nothing and then making them into something.
Yep.
And Dame and Embiid will be so good together. Like I don't,
Exactly.
yeah, that will be one of the best like duos in the NBA. Hopefully it doesn't happen because I'm trying to recruit Dame over here to the Lakers, bro. Yeah, I'm gonna keep calling him. I'm gonna keep texting him through Twitter. I'm gonna be like Dame to the Lakers. But yeah, what was your thoughts on the Sixers this year, MG?
Well, the 76ers, look, man, we had, despite our fail in the playoffs, we had an amazing regular season. We finished as the number one team in the Eastern Conference's regular season. Joel Embiid was number two in the MVP race. You had Tobias Harris having such an amazing year after being an average player his whole year. You know, being an amazing third option for us. You had Seth Curry, who was a lethal shooter. Danny Green played well in his role, and then we had guys like Matisse Thybulle, who was an All NBA defender. You had Dwight Howard, one of the best backup centers in the NBA. You had Tyrese Maxey, who was a great young player. So the regular season, everything looked great, and then in the playoffs, obviously we failed. But one thing I will say in the playoffs is that Joel Embiid, um, despite being injured, um, despite going through injuries and despite losing in the playoffs, he had his three best playoff games in this playoff year. He had a big game against Washington. Then in the Hawks series, game one, 39 points. Game four, he had 40 points. So he had some of his best single performances in this playoff. So Joel Embiid definitely showed that he is gonna perform in the playoffs. Obviously, players around him like Ben Simmons, sometimes Tobias Harris, others didn't show up. But at the end of the day, we had an amazing regular season and a disappointing playoffs.
Yeah, I completely agree. I thought to be honest with you, I thought you guys were the team to compete with the Bucks the most in the East. Because I felt like you guys matched them up so well. You had
Hmm.
defense on offense, but it turns out when a team that can shoot really well against the Sixers, they
Hmm.
usually get hot, and the Sixers just cannot stop it. And
Hmm.
some of that is because of Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons could do so much more, but he doesn't want to, for some reasons.
Hmm.
You can have like 30, 20, 25, it doesn't matter. You're going to win that game. You have good defense. The defense is always there. Matisse, Ben Simmons, Tyrese Maxey, and Embiid, the defense is there.
Hmm.
No one's questioning that. It's just that how will Ben Simmons be like captured, or how is he gonna fit with this offense?
Right.
If he's already good on defense, how is he gonna fit with the offense? He just needs to do the little things to score. And to be honest with you, he's not doing that. So Dame would make more sense for you guys. And yeah, last year I do not know what that was. Yeah. But let's
Yeah.
go into the birds, bro. Let's go into the birds. As I see, Mav the Legend is in the chat. What's up, Mav? No, F the Cowboys. You are wrong about saying that.
Yeah, that's wrong, buddy.
Yep, yep, you are wrong on saying that. But what are your thoughts on the Zach Ertz situation, man?
Very interesting, man. I thought 2 3 weeks ago that it was definitely for sure that we were gonna trade him away. Looks like the Buffalo Bills was the number one official team. But it turns out that that is wrong. It turns out that Zach Ertz looks like he's going to report to training camp. It looks like he's going to at least play some games this year for the Philadelphia Eagles, man. And it's honestly crazy because I never thought that he'd honestly wear Eagles jersey again after his quote unquote best friend Carson Wentz left the team. He showed a lot of frustrations last season. I honestly thought Zach Ertz was going to leave, but it does turn out that Zach Ertz will be playing for the Philadelphia Eagles this year. So obviously he's the greatest tight end in the Eagles history. He has a lot that he's done for the franchise. Got us our first and only Super Bowl so far. I appreciate Zach Ertz, but I thought his time was up, but he will be an Eagle this year. So we'll have to wait and see how that turns out.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And look who entered the chat. If it isn't the Sped himself, it is Mr. Isaiah Faithful. Well, what's up, man? And do not call me that. But 16 in the chat. Please like, subscribe, check me out on Twitter. Yeah, 16 up in the chat. I appreciate all of you guys. And Arturo said, what happened to the Chargers rumors? What happened to the Chargers rumors was that the Chargers signed Jared Cook, I think, to be their tight end. And I think those rumors went away. But here's how I'm looking at it with Zach Ertz. I think Zach Ertz makes sense for a team like the Bills, Titans, or this is just me throwing it out there. I think he would make sense for the Bengals because their tight end is very injury prone. They don't have an indoor facility. How that increases more chances of him getting injured because they don't have an indoor facility this year. So I think Zach Ertz would fit well with the Bengals because Joe Burrow would need a security blanket, and he would make sense for the Bengals. But yeah, I completely agree. Hopefully he's cut or something, because not Zach Ertz, Isaiah. Well, he's injury prone, but that was one season where he was injury prone. And most of that was
actually been healthy.
Yeah, and most of that was because of a fluke season. So yeah. But yeah, let me go to the next question, bro. Who is a breakout player on offense for you, and who is one on defense?
All right, so let's start with the defensive side, man. I think the defensive side, they say defense win championships, but it's more than that. The defense brings the energy when they get turnovers and stuff like that. And a guy who I feel like is a breakout player for the Eagles is someone who none of you know if you're not an Eagles fan, but that is Mr. Josh Sweat. He is on the defensive line. And last year, man, he had such a productive season, and he had his breakout game against the New Orleans Saints, getting pressure on Taysom Hill, chasing down one of the fastest quarterbacks in the NFL, getting a strip sack also in that game. Josh Sweat is just hungry on the defensive edge rusher, man. And a lot of Eagles content creators said last year that Josh Sweat was one of their favorite defensive linemen out of the big duo Cox and Graham because he brings energy. He cares about the game, and he wants to let everyone know, all of our defensive coaches, all of our coaches, our owners, that he is the future on the Eagles defensive line. And then we got the offensive side of the football, man. Now, look, it's easy to say, Devontae Smith this, Devontae Smith that, and it's easy to say Miles Sanders this and Miles Sanders that because Devontae Smith is an amazing talent, and Sanders has also shown success. Let's go to a guy who, goes underrated. And honestly, he had an amazing season last year until he got his snaps cut, and that is Travis Fulgham. His last season was amazing when he did get the opportunities in the early half of the season in the Niners game, made a big catch to swift the momentum.
Like that, MG.
All right, we back.
Back. I can hear you. All right. Yep, I can hear you.
All right, we back. But yeah, I think Travis Fulgham, that's going to be our breakout player this year, man. He's had an amazing season last year, had a great game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, had a great game against the 49ers with a big touchdown, had a solid game against the Ravens. Travis Fulgham is going to be the breakout guy for me on the offensive side of the ball.
I completely agree with you. For me on offense, I'd have to say Dallas Goedert, just because whether Ertz is here or not, I don't care. I think Goddard should be the tight end. He's because he hasn't shown us that much on the field. He has shown us a couple things here and there. He has shown us what type of tight end he is. He is a tight end that is a red zone threat, and he can make holes and lanes people. And to me, I feel like he is a very underrated tight end. And I completely agree with you. Fulgham could be a tight end that is very underrated. Well, wide receiver, my bad. Flip-flopping words here. Fulgham, he is a wide receiver that went on the radar last year. Him, um, and also Josh on the defense, so I would have to agree. Him or Vontae Maddox. But I need to fix my mic for a second, so I'll let you answer this question from Emily. She says, "What? Okay." She said, "Okay, MG. What do you think of?" She says, "What do you think about Aaron Rodgers' situation? Aaron Rodgers leaving Green Bay Packers, and who do you think MG? I can't hear you." Wait, is my mic good now? Is my mic better now?
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. All right, but so she asked us about the Aaron Rodgers situation. Um, it's a very, very interesting situation because you have a quarterback who has had a lot of success with his organization, and then it just turned quickly with the Jordan Love draft pick, and honestly, if Aaron Rodgers switches a team, I honestly think he's gonna go to the Denver Broncos. Now, why do I say the Denver Broncos, and why do I think he'd be better off there? Because Aaron Rodgers, when you look at the Denver Broncos, they have good weapons. They have Cortland Sutton, who with the last time Cortland Sutton was healthy, he was a 1,000 yard wide receiver. You got Jerry Judy, who is a great in college. He's going into his second year. Then you got a solid running back they drafted this year in Javonte Williams. You got Melvin Gordon, who's a good veteran running back. You got good pieces. You got Noah Fant, and if they can build an offensive line and get Aaron Rodgers, I think Rodgers will be very good with the Denver Broncos with the pieces that they have. And honestly, man, it just be a good fit, and we could see Rodgers versus Mahomes, which would be fun.
Sir, yes, sir. I completely agree. I think Rodgers would make so much sense for the Broncos because they need a guy that just knows how to run the offense and a guy that can just manipulate defenses. And I feel like, to be honest with you, I think Rodgers, he's not to blame for why the Packers have been so down of late when it comes to the playoffs. I think it's more of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think it's more of the organization not putting enough pieces around him. The offense is talented. No one disagrees with that. But I just feel like the organization kind of ruins things for him.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he thought he was drafting. He thought he was getting another weapon when they took before they took Jordan Love. He thought he was getting a weapon, and they got Jordan Love. I'm sorry that I'm bringing this up to any Packers fans in the chat. I know B. Christensen will be mad at me if I ever said this again. But yeah, so I'm gonna go to the next question. But that was a good question. One player that you think needs to break out on offense, and one that needs to break out on defense.
Offensively, I think a guy who needs to break out is Jalen Rager because he has a lot on the line right here. He had a lot of expectations last season, as far as getting drafted as high as he did. Obviously, everyone knows he got drafted before Justin Jefferson, who had an amazing year. Um, and he got drafted before Brandon Ayuk as well, which a lot of people disagree with. So I think that he's gonna have to break out this year. And I think there's a good chance he will. You know, he's going to be coming more out of the slot this year, which could be an advantage for him so he can use his speed more and more, which will be very effective for a guy like him. And that's who I think offensively needs to break out. And then defensively, I think this might be this. As a matter of fact, if he doesn't perform, this will be his last season, and that is Derek Barnett, our 2017 14th overall pick, defensive end Derek Barnett. Listen, man, this dude in college, Derek Barnett was a beast. He broke Reggie White's college record. Come on now. And then you come to Philly, breaking Reggie White's college records. We expect you to be like just one of the best pass rushers, and he hasn't shown that on a consistent level. Now, will he get pressure on the quarterback here and there? Yes. Will he get a sack here and there? And did he recover the biggest fumble recovery in Eagles history? Yes, he was there. But listen, with Derek Barnett, I want to see consistent pressure. I want to see a guy who wants to win. And Josh Sweat is coming for his spot, so he's gonna have to break out, or else he's out of here.
Yes, sir. I'm gonna have to disagree with you on offense. I think Rager is one player, but I'm gonna have to say on offense, I'm gonna say Andre Dillard. Because I think Dillard he needs to beat out Jordan Mailata, and then he has to prove himself to the NFL. But I can understand where you're coming from with the Rager one. He needs to break out this year. Do I think there's more offensive weapons on the offense? To like take some of the reps away from him, yes, but he still will get the ball and he will get his touches no matter what. He's a first round pick, so that's one thing to take into consideration. Um, and then on defense, I would have to say Derek Burnett too, because he's been here for like 5 years, and we
Mm-hmm.
compared this man to Reggie White, and he hasn't shown us that much. If you get compared to Reggie White, you have to prove to yourself that you are a good defensive end because um, we took you over Tre'Davious White. We took you over Marshawn Lattimore, Marlon Humphrey, three players that contribute to their teams.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to hold that one move against Derek Barnett because all he does is fake in and he comes in.
Mm-hmm.
That's that move he always does.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's the one I think needs to break out on defense. But
Okay.
look who has entered the chat. If it isn't the other sped, big B Sports Talk. Why did I just say my own name? But yeah, how are you doing, B? How are you doing, man? And no, I'm not holding MG on hostage. Do not think that. I am not holding him on
Who
hostage.
said
Whoever said that. B said that in the chat. This man thinks I'm holding you to hostage, bruh.
that's
But yeah,
literally not possible? We're virtual.
exactly. But we have a question in the chat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rephrase this question for Big Fridge. He says, "Why is your linebacker core so trash?" Well, why is our linebacker core so good? Is the problem? Is the question? I'm just playing, but yeah, I completely agree with you. With what you just said. But CLB Sports Talk, he's leaving.
Okay.
Um, do you think the Eagles will sign a CB2?
Um, I think when it comes down to it, I think we will, and I think what I'm hearing from around the league and what I'm seeing, I think we're gonna get Steven Nelson. When it comes to teams who want Steven Nelson, there may be a few out there, but the Eagles seem like the only team that's seriously trying to get him, and we're the only team that seriously needs him at CB2. And I do think Howie Roseman is gonna sign Landon Dickerson in the next few days, and then right before training camp, he's gonna pull the trigger and he's gonna sign Steven Nelson, and then he's gonna be here by training camp. And I just think Howie Roseman, uh, if you're a GM in his situation, you want to just put us in the best chance to have competitive football games this year. And he's like the last piece to our puzzle. I mean, obviously we got a big hole at linebacker. But as far as secondary, he's almost like the last piece of the puzzle. Safety, we're not the best, but we're okay with Anthony Harris or Rodney McLeod. We have a cornerback one in Darius Slay, so why not get a guy like Steven Nelson? And I think if Howie is thinking this the right way, he's going to sign Landon Dickerson, get rid of Zach Ertz, whether it's a cut or a trade, even though he might be playing, but try to clear some money like Howie always does, finds a way to get money. And I think we are. I think eventually we're going to make that move because no other team is seriously looking at Steven Nelson the way that I think we are. So That's what I think happens.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think Steven Nelson will make the most sense for us because um, if we're gonna release Zach Ertz, which I hope we do, we'd be saving $8.5 million in cap space, um, freeing up some money to sign, Steven Nelson, and I think that would make sense for us. Um, Especially if we get a guy like Steven Nelson who would contribute right away,
Yep.
instead of holding on to Zach Ertz for a numerate of years. But
Hey,
yeah,
but we're known for doing that. Like, look how longer we kept Darren Sproles for when we weren't supposed to keep Darren Sproles. We kept him for like 2-3 years. Once we won the Super Bowl, Darren Sproles should have been off the roster, but he stayed like 2 more years after that. So the Eagles are known for keeping guys longer than what we should. Look at Jason Peters. Like, he should have been retired after the Super Bowl as well, but he stayed longer. So
yes, sir. Whoever thinks I'm holding MG for hostage, what are you guys smoking, bro? The dude is 6'1". How am I supposed to carry him anyway? But I see Joseph Balby in the chat. What's good,
what's up,
man?
man?
He is a Giants fan, so respect to him in the chat. He's a cool Giants fan. Bro, come on now. That's the other way around. It's gonna be the Cowboys,
The
man.
Cowboys, yeah. I think he meant Cowboys right there. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes we make mistakes, typo, autocorrect, maybe he just forgot to type Cowboys right there.
Yeah. And what's up, Ravens? How are you doing, man?
What's up, Ravens?
Yep. What's good, man? But another question I have for you is, one surprise like cut before going into training camp that you think could happen on offense or defense?
Surprise cut on offense. Honestly, it hurts to say he's contributed when we need him to, but it's gonna be Greg Ward. And defensively, I think a guy who can contribute or get cut. I'm sorry, a guy who can get cut is probably Nickel Roby Coleman, I believe.
Is he on our team?
Is he on, or did he already get released? I believe
Yeah.
if he's already released, then I think a guy who might get cut defensively is Avonte Maddox if he doesn't show in training camp.
You know, those two ones, I can see where you're coming from. I definitely can see where you're coming from. All right, he's coming back. But yeah, I'd have to say, on offense, I'd have to say Boston Scott one, and then for defense, I'd have to say Hassan Ridgeway, for the Eagles, because Ridgeway, he is a guy that is very, very productive, but very injury prone. And I think that's something to be aware of. Oh my. Hopefully my mic is better now. It's acting up like crazy, man. Like, what is wrong with my mic? My mic is better now. It's acting up like crazy. Bro. We are just waiting on MG. So I'm going to just cut to the chat for real quick. Bro, Big Fridge, what are you talking about? Big Fridge, where is this nonsense coming from, bro? Did Isaiah tell you to say these things just so you can get money from him? Like, what the heck? Bro, you two, man. Aiden, Big Fridge, and Isaiah just be cracking me up, bro. Bro, all right, it's better now. All right, thank you, man. We got 10 up in the chat. Wait, 9 up in the chat. 12 up in the chat. We got 17 likes, so keep pounding the like button. Subscribe. We are on the road to 300, so please subscribe. And also go check me out on Twitter and IG. Yeah, and also turn those notification bells on. Yep, yes, sir.
All right, I'm back.
MG is back. So I said, all right. So I said for offense, I said Boston Scott.
Okay.
And for defense, I said Hassan Ridgeway. Because I feel like Merlin Tui Palutu and Milton Williams may take his job if he's not consistently healthy. He's productive, but he is very injury prone. So that's
Yeah,
something to be aware
he's
of.
always on like the he's always on some type of injury list every week. Hassan
Yeah.
Ridgeway, Hassan Ridgeway,
I,
every week.
we gave up a fourth for him.
Hey,
So I'm gonna go to Mav's question next.
mhm,
So he says, seriously. Yes, get your serious faces on. All right. BPS, he says, NFC East standings predictions.
okay.
You want to go first?
All right. So as much as I hate this team with the living passion, it's gonna be the Dallas Cowboys. They have the best offense in the division, and it's not close. And their defense did get better. I mean, so you have to just think if Dak Prescott comes back healthy, that they'll be the number one team. The number two team. This is hard right here, but this team's gonna have a solid year defensively, and they got some good offensive weapons, and that is the Washington football team. Their defense, even though their secondary isn't the best, they get the job done, and the pressure is just crazy. You if once you count to three, if the ball's not in your hand, you're getting sacked. So, and then their offense. I mean, Fitzpatrick, all he has to do is be an average quarterback, and he's gonna, he has Terry McLaurin, he has Curtis Samuel. They got Antonio Gibson, J.D.
De'Ami
McKissick, who's
Brown,
the backup, De'Ami Brown in the draft,
Logan
who's a
Thomas.
Logan Thomas, one of the sleeper tight ends for this season. So they got a good offensive weapons. Number three, I think I'm gonna have to take the Eagles right here. I think we're gonna have a better season than most people expect because not only do we have the easiest schedule in our division, we have the easiest schedule in the whole NFL. So I think we're gonna get some easy wins. And also too, if Devontae Smith works out like he should, I think he's gonna be one of the best, if not the best, rookie wide receiver. Um, and also to Miles Sanders, who's another guy who came close, who came to 850 or 830 yards rushing last year. He's only going to get better. He probably can hit 1,000 yards rushing this year. Obviously, we know the pass catcher he can be. So I think, and then fourth place, I had the New York Giants. Now, listen, that's not saying the Giants are a bad team. Actually, they might be a little bit better than they were last year. But the problem I have with the New York Giants is, other than Kenny Galladay and Kyle Rudolph was a decent signing, all their other weapons are going to get injured. Look at Sterling Shepard. He can't stay healthy. Darius Slayton, if he's not injured or on the injury list, he's dropping the football consistently. And when you look at Kadarius Tooney, I mean, he's gonna at certain situations, if their receivers, if their injury-prone weapons don't stay healthy, he's gonna be relied as the receiver number two. Kyle Rudolph is, getting late in his career, so I don't want you to rely on him as your second weapon. Obviously, Kenny Galladay is gonna be the vocal point of their passing game, but my thing is, if Saquon, he has not practiced yet, and he said himself he doesn't think he's gonna start practicing anytime soon, which means he's gonna miss training camp, and he could possibly miss the whole preseason. And then week one, he's just gonna get thrown out there with no practice. And I just think the Giants are just a little bit overrated. And then Daniel Jones, he is a decent quarterback, but when you fumble the ball 12 times a season, that is a red flag. You cannot have 12 fumbles and 12 interceptions. That's 24 turnovers a year from Daniel Jones, and that is unacceptable at the quarterback position. So I have them finishing fourth, and that's my NFC East standings right there.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna go after that. Surprisingly, you have the Giants last. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I like the confidence. I like the confidence. But yeah, I have Washington one because I feel like that defense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just like their defense. I don't like their secondary as much. Because it's not that talented. I mean, they have Buller, they have Moreland, they have what's the kid from the Bengals?
William
William
Jackson.
Jackson.
They
Yeah.
have Landon Collins.
Yep, Landon Collins, he's overrated to me. Yeah, he's overrated to be honest with you. I'm just saying. But their offense is very talented. They have,
Wow.
yeah. What's
Whoa,
up?
hold up. Breaking news. As we talk about the Giants, they just placed Saquon Barkley on the injury list along with tight end Kyle Rudolph. So Saquon is not gonna
Wow.
looks like Saquon's gonna miss the start of training camp, and Kyle Rudolph is also on the injury list.
Woo wee. That's a big Woj bomb. I mean, well, big MG bomb. Let me say that. Let me rephrase it. But yeah, that's a big loss for the
for the
Giants.
Giants. Yep.
Now it won't be as big because it's just for only training camp,
Hmm.
so they should be healthy by the start of the NFL comes. So that tells you Saquon Barkley is injury prone. If I'm just being honest. But
Hmm.
let's go back to the NFC East
Yes.
standings. I don't want to get off topic here.
Hmm.
Washington, I said, was one. A very talented offense. I explained it. Two, I have the Giants. I think they've improved a lot. If they stay healthy, I think they are an underrated team, and all Daniel Jones has to do is facilitate the offense.
Yep.
And I think he can do that tremendously with the weapons that he has right now. He showed that he could facilitate the offense last year,
Yep.
even with bad weapons. So now he has to manage the time, manage the game clock, and just get better as a player. And their defense is just as talented as their offense. Their defense is more talented than their offense because they have just beasts on that defense.
Hmm.
So I have them two, and then I have the Cowboys three, and I have the Eagles four. All right, MG, before you get mad, here, let me explain. I think the Eagles are very talented, but I think we are in the process of rebuilding. As much as I love Jalen Hurts, I do think he'll break out this season. But I feel like we're a rebuilding team. We have 3 first-round picks, so we have the brightest future in the NFC East, and we should be in contention for the NFC East for a long time to come after this season. Because when you have 3 first-round picks, and when you're depending Jalen Hurts to be good this season, that's extremely good for you because if Hurts breaks out this year, then you have another 3 first-round picks to build around him. So
Yep.
I think that's very good for us, especially if we're just going to get better every single season. But yeah, how do you feel about that?
So I mean, it's not bad. I mean, a lot of people have the Eagles at 4, but the Cowboys at all the way at number 3. That's interesting. I didn't see that coming. Wow. So you have the Giants and the football team, being over them, and that's interesting, man. A lot of people had the Cowboys at number 1, even Eagles fans themselves. So that's interesting on how you have the Cowboys being the number 3 team in the division.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I think Dak is he's not going to come back to form. So Cowboys fans can just get that out of their head. He's not going to be the same player that he once was. But I will say, if he does good again this season, then I may be wrong. But as of today, I think the Giants in Washington are just a tad bit better because the
Okay.
Giants have a good offense, not like the Cowboys, but they still have a good offense. The defense, they have a much better defense than the Cowboys.
Hmm.
So if we're just basing it off of that, if we're balancing the offense and defense, the Giants have a better offense and defense. Well, not offense, but the Cowboys have a better offense. But if
Yep.
we balance that together, then they are a talented but also utterly okay complete team. In Washington, I think I know where I stand on this. Good offense, good defense, balance it together. It can make something happen.
Yep.
So that's why I have Dallas 4. I mean 3.
Okay.
But I did, yeah. What were you gonna say?
No, just saying that's interesting, but we can now move on.
Yeah. And Isaiah says, bro, you guys act like you guys were close to winning or even getting second in the division. You guys are trash and you are going to be trash. What are you talking about, bro? How will we I understand we're gonna rebuild, but we're not that trash. If you look at it on paper, we're not that trash. But how do you feel about that, Isaiah? I mean, MG.
Well, how is Isaiah saying that we're acting like we're going to be close when I have us 3 and you have us 4 in the division? We never had them first or second. So the comment that he made actually is false. So I don't actually know where he got that from. I don't know if he just needs to get his ears cleaned because I have them third in the division. You have them 4. Obviously, that's nowhere near close to winning the division. So we never had them second, like he commented right there. So that's actually a false comment right there. I mean, Big Play Slate called us a rebuilding team. I just said we have the easiest schedule, and that's going to make us the third place team. I mean, I don't think we said second or even getting close to first or second. So,
Yeah, and if I'm just being honest, we could be like 2 or 3 because our schedule is easy, as you said. But
Mhm.
I feel like we're a rebuilding team, but our schedule is easy to where we can steal some games, and we're gonna compete in every single game that we're in, other than the Chiefs versus Bucks game.
Yep.
Yeah, those two we're not competing in, but we're gonna at least try. To
Right.
win the game, we're gonna at least try.
At
But
least.
yeah, I feel like we're gonna be a rebuilding team that competes this year.
Hmm.
Almost like the Giants last year, where they competed with other teams, but didn't. They lost, but they competed on paper.
Hmm.
And he also says, and with all these first one piece that you guys have, you're gonna f them up. You're the Eagles. You're going to use at least one of these for another quarterback and make more quarterback controversy. What do you think about that?
I mean, hey, I think what he meant. I think what he said first piece. I think he said picks. Meant picks in the draft. I mean, and if we draft a quarterback, it's just gonna because Jalen Hurts didn't work out. I think it's just as simple as that. And if Jalen Hurts shows that he can potentially be our future quarterback, then we're gonna build around him. So I think that's just how it's gonna be. I mean, I don't think that if we were gonna create quarterback controversy, we would have been in the sweepstakes to trade for different quarterbacks and also keep Jalen Hurts. I mean, if there's any year we could have made quarterback controversy, we could have drafted Mac Jones or Justin Fields and make quarterback controversy there. So I don't think if there was a chance to do it, it was at that number 10 pick, right before Chicago traded up, was to draft Justin Fields. So, um, or draft Mac Jones. So I don't think we if there was any chance of us making controversy, it was this year's draft. We decided to go with Jalen Hurts. We decided to stick with one quarterback. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And to be fair, Isaiah, um, to be fair, man, if Hurts breaks out this year, then we have 3 first round picks to potentially build around him.
Hmm.
So all we're banking on is if Hurts plays good this year, has a good to decent season,
Yep.
um, we can have 3 first round picks to build around him.
Hmm.
Whether it be building on the defense, building for the trenches, or adding more playmakers to the roster, it
Hmm.
doesn't matter. Just add pieces around him.
And if he doesn't work out, we got 3 first round picks. Use one of them as a quarterback and 2 other picks to build around that guy, along with the pieces we already have. So the Eagles, I mean, we're in a good position for the future. Maybe not this year. Like I said, we both have them at 3 and 4 this year. But maybe in the next few years, as long as things go as they should go, we're gonna be contending for the division. Not like I said, not this year, but the 3 4 years, the next 3 4 years down the line, we can be back at the top of the division, just like we were in 2017 and 2018 and 2019. So that's just what I think about this stuff.
Yes, sir. We got LGB up in here.
Yep.
We just
What's up?
collabed with them yesterday, so appreciate you for stopping by, LGB. And one more time, congrats on 200, man.
200, man. He hit 200 during our stream, man. So
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, bro.
hey,
And also we got Mac. I just met him yesterday. He is a Giants fan. He is a
okay,
chill Giants fan. So appreciate you for stopping by, Mac. Like, bro.
100%. Hey,
Yeah. For sure.
I don't like the Giants, but hey, if any fans, if I'm ever anywhere, you guys wanna come and talk, hey, bro. I love
Yeah.
debating with Giants fans. Those are the
Mhm.
best.
Yeah, bro, it was like 5-on-1 yesterday. Me versus Logan. No, so Eagles Uncensored had this. He was like going against, like he was going against this Giants fan, right?
Yep.
Him and Logan. Logan's one of my friends. He's a Giants fan, right? And
Mm-hmm.
he was going up against him. Like it's just like this podcast where it's Eagles Giants,
Mm-hmm.
and Eagles Uncensored's Wi-Fi was bad yesterday when he was doing it, so he had to leave. And then I kind of like was the special guest, like host, the guy that replaced him for like just that stream.
Mm-hmm.
I was going debating a bunch of Giants fans, and Mac was up of course in there.
Oh,
So yeah,
hey.
yeah, and I held my own.
There you go. Hey, 1 versus 5. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, thank you, man. Um, but yeah, I think I know where you're gonna go with this one. But what are your thoughts on our receiving core, bro?
When you look at this, man, our wide receiving core. You got Devontae Smith, Jalen Rager, Travis Fulgham, Greg Ward. You got Hightower, Quez Watkins. So you got a lot you can do with this right here. Um, Devontae Smith, I think he's gonna be the star of the show. I think that we're gonna try to get him the ball as much as we can. An interesting point that I don't see a lot of people talking about, at least from the people that I watch regularly, is that when we drafted him, our head coach Nick Sirianni specifically said we're not just gonna use him as an outside receiver. We're gonna use him in a slot. We're gonna move him around the line of scrimmage, use him in motion. Try to get him moved around, make so the defense won't just key in on him, man. We got to make sure we keep them guessing. So every time the defense calls a play, is Devontae Smith going to be in the slot? Is he going to be at the Y? Is he going to be at the Z? Is he going to be doing jet sweeps? So I think that's going to be interesting. And then you got Jalen Rager, who can do some dirty work in the slot with his speed and with his quick athleticism. And if he keeps developing his route running, he has no dropping issues, and he uses his speed to his advantage. He's going to be good out the slot this year. And then Travis Fulgham, like I said, he had a good year last year when he did get opportunities. Then when Alshon Jeffrey came back, that kind of cut his minutes. But obviously, he's still a receiver who can possibly grow. John Hightower, he had a glaring drop issue, but he did show he can get separation on certain plays. He had a big drop against the Ravens, but he got separation. Had a big catch against the Giants, which got us back in the game. Um, and he showed he can get separation. Quez Watkins showed that you can use him in many different ways. You've seen his only touchdown last year wasn't even a regular wide receiver run a route and catch the ball. It was behind the backfield, behind the line of scrimmage, catch the ball or hand get the ball and run. And that's how we're going to use Quez Watkins. So we're going to have a very, very interesting receiver core that's going to do a lot of different things and they're going to be able to confuse the opposing defense.
Yeah, I completely agree. I feel like our receiving core is just unproven.
Mm-hmm.
It's very unproven. But the good thing about having an unproven receiving core is that you don't know what you're gonna get out of them.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more of a guessing game, and
Yep.
that guessing game could help us in the future. But I love our receiving core. I mean, love our receiving core. But yeah, very talented receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
But LGB asked me a question. He said, "Do you remember?" He's like, a quick question. Do you remember Eagle season? Yes, I do remember Eagle season.
Um, I know like 8 million Eagles content creators, so he's probably like one of them. I don't remember all of them by name, but I probably do remember him. Came
Yep.
across a video
What
here.
whatever happened to Eagle season anyway? He used to
Wait,
be.
is that the guy who like just stopped posting, right?
Yeah, he was the guy that stopped
Yeah,
posting. I don't know what happened to him.
I don't
Maybe
know.
his page got taken down or something. But he was a really good content creator.
Yeah,
So
maybe like I said, hopefully taking a break or something. Maybe he comes back for the start of the season.
yeah, absolutely, man. But peace out, Mab the Legend, and peace out, Emily. Have a good night,
Yep.
people. But yeah, so let's talk about this for real quick.
Hmm.
What is the training camp battle you are excited to see?
Andre Dillard, Jordan Mailata for a starting left tackle spot. Jordan Mailata over the last season, he's shown to hold his own at the left tackle position. And that's very, very promising. But Andre Dillard's a first round pick who has a lot of talent, but he keeps getting injured, and that is the issue. So that's gonna be the battle I look forward to in training camp. Who's gonna take the starting left tackle? Who's gonna be the guy who protects Jalen Hurts' blind spot when he's inside the pocket? Because Jalen Hurts is a right-handed quarterback who's going to be looking to the right. His left side is just a shoulder. He's not going to be able to see who's coming. Where with a right edge rusher, he's going to be able to see him. But who's going to protect the blind spot of Jalen Hurts? And that's a very, very important position is the left tackle spot. And that's the issue we had. And a little bit of an issue with Carson Wentz this year is that his blind spot wasn't protected. So who's going to protect the blind spot? Is Jordan Mailata and the promise he's shown going to win? Or is the glaring talent and the potential of Andre Dillard gonna win this job?
Absolutely. It's a very good battle because Mailata last year he broke out, and then you have Andre Dillard. You still don't know what you have in him. He's a
Mm-hmm.
first round pick, and you still don't know what you have in him.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's very good that these two are battling together
Yep.
because it's gonna create more competition. It's gonna make players much better. And I think these two are exciting to see, especially going at it in training camp.
Hmm.
May the best man win. That's all I
Yep.
gotta say. Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Um, but this is a extensive question.
Hmm.
People are having head raises on this, because it's a little weird, iffy, or bad. Do you think the Eagles should trade Fletcher Cox, and what would you want, bro?
I don't think we should trade him this year, but if we do, I want a big time player. And I'm looking at the quarterback currently of the Houston Texans, and that's potentially Deshaun Watson. And I think that's pretty much it. Like if you're gonna trade a guy like Fletcher Cox, you better be getting a guy who can impact our roster right back, because Fletcher Cox is top three defensive tackle in the league, probably only behind Aaron Donald. Um, Consistent. I believe he's on his way, if he stays with the Eagles, enough to be the all-time sack leader at the defensive tackle position for the Eagles. And we've had a lot of great defensive tackles like Jerome Brown. You've had a great edge rusher, Reggie White. So that just goes to show his impact on the team. He was here for our first Super Bowl. So do I want to trade him? No. But if we do, we better be getting a superstar back for him, because one of the greatest Eagles defensive linemen of all time, a top three, top five defensive tackle in the NFL, and it's gonna be hard to replace a guy like Fletcher Cox. So that's what my opinion is on that.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think Fletcher Cox will be, if we're gonna trade him, we're gonna have to get someone good,
Yeah.
because there is no way you're gonna give up someone of his talent and not get anything back.
Yep.
It just makes no sense. But what I'm gonna say is, I feel like we should trade him, because I don't want to be in the same position where we were in 2018, where we could have traded Ertz and gotten something.
Mhm.
So, what are like? Could it happen to Fletcher Cox? Could he regress this year? And then you don't get something. You regret that you didn't trade him. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Um, but peace out, Mac, the Giants fan. Appreciate you for stopping by.
One.
Um, and yeah, and he says make sure to smash the like button. So
Yep.
yeah. But when it comes to Miles Sanders, right? When
Mhm.
it comes to Miles Sanders, what are your expectations for him, and do you think he'll be a Pro Bowler?
Oh man, see, here's the thing. I have a lot of expectations for the Miles Sanders. I think he's going to be 1,000 yard rusher. I think he'll have like 8 rushing touchdowns. I think he'll be once again, like he was last year, one of the highest yards per carry in the NFL. But the thing about the Pro Bowl is, and sometimes it could be a popularity contest. And Miles Sanders is not the most popular running back in the NFL, but he has a lot of skill and a lot of talent with his shiftiness, with his burst of speed that he can crack at any time. I mean, we seen it last year. He had 80 plus yard runs. I believe he had 2 or 3 75 yard runs. Like it's just amazing of what this guy can do. Making the Pro Bowl, that's going to be hard, because I mean you got a lot of great running backs, not even in the conference, just in its division, with Zeke, Saquon Barkley, and Christian McCaffrey are all in the NFC. So unfortunately, I don't have him making the Pro Bowl, but I do expect him to have 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, around 4 yards per carry, and I do have him having a lot of highlights this year, like he did last year with all the big 70, 80 yard runs. So that's what I think Miles Sanders is going to do this year.
Completely agree. I expect a lot from Miles Sanders this year, because I feel like he was miscorrectly used last year.
Hmm.
He was not properly used. And I feel like if you use him correctly this year, he is going to get better.
Hmm.
I just feel like if you use him properly, you're gonna get more out of him this season. And he had 6.3 yards per carry last year when he played, when he was healthy for like 3 to 4 straight games. Until
Hmm.
he got injured, he was leading the league in yards per carry, more than Derrick Henry, more than Nick Chubb. So let's say if he plays the entire season, he would have been first. And he had 5.3 yards per carry at the end of the season. So
Hmm.
imagine how many yards per carry he would have had if he played the entire season. And
Yep.
5.3 yards is good, for yards per carry.
Right.
That is certainly good. That's third in the NFL for him last
Hmm.
year. But imagine if he played the entire season, man. That would have been ridiculous.
Yep.
But yeah, let's go to another question here. Do you think the Eagles can win the division? And if we do, what is your record prediction for us?
Unfortunately, with the teams that I have above us, I don't think we will win the division this year. Um, but a record prediction, I think we can win 8 games. I think we can win 8 games. Now, um, that could possibly put us second place because we know how the NFC East is. But I see the Cowboys as an amazing offense is going to score a lot with a okay defense, and I see Washington as a good team as well. Um, but I do think we can win 7 to 8 games this year. Um, and that'll be a record position. I'm gonna go 8 and 9 because we have a very easy schedule. It's gonna be a lot of teams that we're gonna beat, like the Jets, like the Broncos, like teams like that I think we can beat. And there are gonna be a couple teams who we surprise. Maybe teams that might be in the playoffs that we might beat. But I think as far as winning the division, I feel like we're not there yet. But I feel like with this depending on what happens this season and the draft that we have next year, I feel like after this season, I think we're gonna be set to win the division.
Yes, sir. I agree. We are definitely set to win the NFC East for years to come.
Hmm.
But I feel like going into this season, just into this season, I feel like we're a team that's trying to rebuild
Hmm.
and put pieces around Jalen Hurts while we still can, to know if he is our future franchise quarterback.
Hmm.
But yeah, I agree. We got just a couple more questions, and
Yep.
then we're gonna be free to go. But what are you looking most forward to this season?
What I'm looking most forward to this season is the Eagles' number 10th overall pick, and that is Alabama star wide receiver Devontae Smith. And the reason why I'm most looking forward to him is because he is the cornerstone to the Eagles' future success. If he is succeeding and he is a draft pick that we hit a home run with, then that is going to set us up for success with our quarterback Jalen Hurts, with taking pressure off Miles Sanders to have to do everything, with taking pressure off of Dallas Goedert to feel like he has to do everything. Because when you look at the last few years with the Eagles, we rely so much on our tight ends. But if Devontae Smith works out, he is the key to the success of our offense and the way our offense is going to be ran, more wide receiver heavy instead of tight end heavy. And that's going to take pressure off of Miles Sanders so he can also, thrive in his own way. And that's just going to open up a lot of things for the offense when Devontae Smith is succeeding. So that's what I'm most looking forward to this season.
Devontae Smith, the Alabama star wide receiver.
Yep.
He is a monster. He is a monstrous receiver. One of the best receivers I've ever seen come out of the NFL draft. One of the best receivers I've ever seen come out of college. Period.
Hmm.
This kid is lightning fast. He is lightning burst. He is just lightning in a bottle, just waiting to play football in the NFL. In my opinion, and just my opinion, I think he will be the best rookie wide receiver this
I
season.
agree.
Because he is going into a situation where he's the wide receiver one.
Hmm.
And Waddle, he is going into a situation where he has Parker, where he has Gesicki, where he has Will Fuller. And he's only suspended for 2 games, so it's not like he's going to be suspended for the entire year.
Yeah.
And you have Chase, who has Boyd, Higgins,
Hmm.
and if CJ Ozuma's healthy, him too, and Joe Mixon. That's a very talented trio. Oh
Yep.
well, quadruplets, should I say?
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's two talented offenses that both receivers are going to be going into. And Smith, he's going to get the opportunity to be the wide receiver one. That's some high status level praise for a receiver that hasn't even stepped on the NFL field yet. So that's a little too much for him. But yeah. But this is a non-topic Eagles question.
Okay.
Who is your Super Bowl predictions this season?
This season, I've been thinking about this a lot. Um, First off, the Kansas City Chiefs are not making the Super Bowl this season because it's a quarterback from Wyoming He plays in Buffalo, New York, and his name is Joshua Allen. The Buffalo Bills will be facing off against seven-time Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. And right now I have the Buccaneers winning in a very, very great offensive game. And that's my early Super Bowl prediction right here. The Bills versus the Buccaneers.
Ooh, so you think the Bills are beating the Chiefs this year?
Yeah, I
That,
think this is the time where the Bills beat the Chiefs.
that's a good prediction. That's a really good prediction. Hot take. Hot
Mhm.
take alert. Hot take. All right. Um, but yeah, I think I'll have to say the Chiefs on the AFC. Too much talent on the offense. There's no way teams beating that team. They're electric to me. And they added pieces on the offensive line. So I think that's gonna help them go a long way. Um to the Super Bowl. If I'm just being honest, the Browns would also be a good team in the Super Bowl. The Bills also. I'll say the Chiefs won for the AFC, and then the NFC, I'll say the Bucks.
Okay.
Um, rematch, as I would like to call it. Could be a repeat Super Bowl for Tom Brady and the Bucks. And it could be a bounce back for the Chiefs. And I think it will be a bounce back for the Chiefs this season, and they win the Super Bowl against the Bucks this year.
Yep.
But we already discussed this earlier. What are your thoughts on the Aaron Rodgers situation? We already discussed
We
that.
already discussed that. Yeah. So someone
Yeah.
asked a question early.
Yep. What's your expectations for Dallas Goddard this season, my boy?
Expect them to have 750 yards. And about I'll say like 75 catches on the year. I'll say he'll have 5 or 6 touchdowns. I think we'll use him as one of our big body weapons, as he is a good tight end. He's also a good blocking tight end, so we'll have him in a lot of big running formations when we're giving Sanders that ball. So that's what I expect from Dallas Goddard, man. I expect them to have a good, productive season. I expect them to take over as the tight end number one and cement his spot. So that's my expectations for Dallas Goddard this year. And also, he'll be a good guy to match up with in two tight end sets with the guy we just brought back and Richard Rodgers. Assuming that Zach Ertz eventually, hopefully, gets traded or cut. That's my expectations, man.
See it, could see it. Um, what's your Jalen Hurts stat prediction?
30, 3,700 yards. I'll say 26 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. And I'll say a passer rating. I'll say 89.9, and then I'll say his completion percentage at a 68.
That's a good stat prediction. That's a
Mhm.
really good stat prediction. But what are your like stat predictions for Jalen Rager?
Rager, I think he'll have about 50 catches. I'll say 600 yards and about 6 touchdowns.
That's a good stat prediction for Rager. People are already calling him a bust. After
Only 1 year.
one season. That's not a good take to me. I feel like you need to see more from a receiver before you can label them a bust or any player in general, especially if they're a first round pick.
Yep.
Then the front office must have saw something in them to draft them that high. So I think you need to give them a chance this year again. But yeah, I do think Rager can have a season like that this season. And then what is your like stance on our linebacking core this season?
I think our linebacking core is the best way to describe it in one word is young. I mean, we have what Davion Taylor, we have T.J. Edwards, we have uh just a lot of young linebackers on our team. We have Sean Bradley, and then we have Eric Wilson. We have just so many young guys, man. Like Duke Riley, like why it's just so young. I mean, Eric Wilson's gonna be our main linebacker. T.J. Edwards is gonna be, um, he's also gonna be one of our more productive linebackers, and then maybe our third guy. Ah, man, it's hard. Maybe like Davion Taylor. I don't know. Like it's just so young. It's definitely gonna be one of the bottom half linebacking cores in the NFL because of our young. our youth, our inexperience. And I just think that's where teams are gonna try to attack us, to try to attack the tight ends and try to make our linebackers cover their tight ends. And that's gonna be really hard to watch the linebacking core this season. Hopefully, we could get a breakout guy, whether it's Davion Taylor, whether it's Sean Bradley, whether it's T.J. Edwards, whoever, man. But we need someone to break out.
And then, um, when it comes to the Eagles coaching staff, who was your favorite hiring?
Jonathan Gannon, the defensive coordinator. I think he's just I just get a good feel about him, man. It looks like he's just gonna change his defense, not even for this year, but for our future. I think he's gonna change the way that the Eagles' defense is looked at. I think he's gonna try in the next few drafts to try to build up this linebacking core. I think he's gonna try to build the secondary up because remember we don't have Darius Slay for that much longer. We have him for maybe like 2 more years. He's also getting up there in age. I think he's gonna try to build a good secondary, keep our defensive line as dominant as it is, because even though we sucked last year, our defense still finished top 5 in sacks in the NFL. So keep our defensive line dominant and then start building on our secondary and our linebacking core. And that's what I like about Jonathan Gannon. He's gonna make us not in the sticks defense. I and this another reason why it's my favorite hiring is because we won't play sticks defense.
Yes, sir.
We
Yes,
won't play six
sir.
defense. So that's my favorite hiring, man. I just think he's gonna do great things with this.
Yeah, he's a very energetic guy. I just love the fact that our entire coaching staff is very energetic and young.
Yep.
And that's something the Eagles need. They need hyperness. They need energeticness. And that's what these coaches have inside them. And I think it will work for us this year.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I agree. And no more sticks defense. Finally, no more sticks.
Finally.
No more sticks defense. Thank God.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's a perfect season for you when it comes to the Eagles this year?
Perfect season is making the playoffs, having 10 plus wins, making the playoffs, Jalen Hurts being a breakout quarterback, Devontae Smith winning Offensive Rookie of the Year, and then having Miles Sanders as an 1,000-yard rusher, and our defense, Fletcher Cox being top 3 in sacks, having our one of the steal signings of the offseason by any team, Anthony Harris, have a lot of interceptions like he has in the past. And then our linebacking core just improving. I think that's the perfect season right there.
I agree. I just want to see improvement. That's something that all Eagles fans want to see. They want to see improvement, especially after a fluke season like that last year.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see improvement, and we want to see improvement fast, in my opinion. But when it comes to the Nick Sirianni hiring, what was your instant reactions to it, and how do you feel about Sirianni?
When I thought Nick Sirianni, I thought a young guy. I thought a very very energetic guy. But I thought we had something there, and I think that if he values his competition, if he values hard work, maybe we might not be the best team as far as talent, but when Nick Sirianni is our head coach, just of the way he gives off, we know that we're going to be giving other teams our best competition that we can give them, because that's what he preaches. We know that no one on our team is not going to get a starting job because maybe he was there last year, or maybe because he was the best player last year. We know that every player on our team is going to earn their spot. And that was my instant thought when I first seen that we hired him. I researched him, and I seen that, okay, this guy's gonna make everyone work, and that's all you can wish for at the end of the day. You might not be the best team, you might be the worst team, but hard work is the name of the game in any sport or any job. So he's gonna make everyone work hard, and he's gonna make sure that we're competitive in almost every game, because that's what he preaches: competition, competitiveness. So that's what I thought when we first hired him.
Yes, sir, man. I completely agree with you. Sirianni is a young coach. He is not the most established, but that can change. Some of the things that he says, do I agree with it? No. Like the competition thing, of course, we know Jalen Hurts is gonna
Oh yeah.
but at least he preaches the right things to me.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the things that he says is very questionable, but I cannot wait to see this guy on the field because he's a young coach. He preaches everything right, and I feel like that's something the Eagles need. An
Yeah,
energetic coach, and you can go.
I feel like with Sirianni too. Honestly, a lot of people talk about how they don't agree what he says at interviews, and that's true. But it honestly looks like he doesn't like talking in front of people. That's what it looks like to me. He just looks nervous, like he doesn't know what to say. Like this man started talking about rock paper scissors in an interview.
But can you blame the man though? You're going into the Eagles crowd, like the Eagles media. Of course, you're going to be nervous. Like
Yeah, the Eagles media is just no joke, man. It's no joke.
yeah. So before I was gonna go to my next question,
Hmm.
Philadelphia sports. He says what you guys think our record. I think he meant to say, yeah, will be this year.
I had us at 8-9. I think I said this a little bit earlier, so that's why I have us.
I know I said 8 and 9 before, but I kinda realized that I kinda looked at our schedule and I have us going 7 and 10, to 8 and 9, or I could see that. Um, but yeah, I just want to see competition and I want to see us improve.
Yep.
But what are some of your biggest concerns for the Eagles this year?
Linebacker, the worst position on the football team. Uh, that's it sucks because I hate to want to look forward to something disappointing, but the linebacking core is making me look forward to something that's just a disappointment ready to happen. So yeah, man, I just think the linebacking core sucks, man. The linebacking core sucks.
Sir, man. I hate to talk about the linebacking core because it is very young,
Yep.
um, very unproven. But one thing I will have to say about the linebacker core that I
Hmm.
will defend them for is that they're young, and we signed Eric Wilson. He was a underrated linebacker last year. Yes, he needs to work on some things, but that's why we. There's a reason we hired Gannon, and there's a
Hmm.
reason we have Nick Rallis as our one of our coaches. So I think he'll get better when it comes to the Eagles. And this is basically like his prove year because he wants to show what he can do this year and then get a bigger deal next year.
Yep.
But what are your thoughts on the Eagles' offensive line?
I think it's going to be way better than it was last year because of the simple fact that, we getting Lane Johnson fully healthy. We getting Jason Kelsey fully healthy. We getting Brandon Brooks fully healthy. All three of them, when healthy, are Pro Bowl offensive linemen. And they all three show that they can play at a very, very high level. And then the competition at left tackle, that's going to be something big. And honestly, I'm interested to see if Isaac Sayamalu can potentially at any point in the season lose his job to Landon Dickerson. Starting him at left guard, even though Landon Dickerson's a center, Landon Dickerson's the type of center that he's not just good at snapping the ball. He also can get up and block as well. So maybe if we want to start him off at left guard so he can block and not worry about the snap, that's going to be very, very interesting. So when I look at the guys who are our best linemen, like Kelsey, when I look at Brooks and Johnson, all three Pro Bowlers when healthy, I'm not going to be concerned about them. Only injury concern is with Brandon Brooks. Hopefully he stays healthy this year. But other than that, man, I just want to see if Landon Dickerson's going to get a true shot because he's a second round pick, but he would have been a first round pick without injury. So we're gonna see what happens at the left guard position, and obviously, like I said, the left tackle, it has the competition there, so we'll know who's the starter, right after training camp. So we'll see.
I agree. As we're talking about this whole competition thing, what was your thoughts on like the competition thing when it was like first said, for the Eagles?
The competition thing. Well, as far as the left tackle competition, that had to be a competition. I don't care who our coach was. I don't care if Bill Belichick was our coach. We were gonna have a competition at left tackle either way. Now, as far as Sirianni talking about maybe the quarterback having a competition, Joe Flacco ain't starting. Okay, Joe Flacco's not starting. And if Joe Flacco starts, listen, man,
I'm just not being an Eagles fan anymore, bro.
listen, man, listen. If Joe Flacco starts, man, You know what? I'll just give up my YouTube channel. You guys can have it. I'll sign you off the password. You can change the name, do whatever. Because if Joe Flacco starts, that's it. I'm not showing up here anymore. I'm no collabs, no YouTube. If Joe Flacco starts, I'm out. I'm done. You will
Yo.
never see me. No Discord. No. I'm not. You're not gonna see me. I'm gonna be gone.
Bro, I'm not even gonna be watching the NFL if he's our starting quarterback. But he says LGB says if we are friends. So MG, he's more of like a Discord friend, I guess. But yeah, I guess I would call him a friend when it comes to just like Discord. I met him when it was like 8 months ago, right? In the Discord.
Yeah.
Something like
I
that.
seen you a lot in stream chats. I just didn't like. I just thought because you know how you had the Nathan Gary account. I thought you were just one of those trolls. So I'm like, oh,
that wasn't me.
I seen like a Big Play Slay account. I'm like, oh, maybe.
Because
I seen your account and then I seen the Nathan Gary account and then I seen Doug Peterson account. So I thought, okay, so all of them they're just trying to like act like they're Eagles players. So I thought you were just one of those trolls at first. But then I seen you join Discord. I'm like, all right, well, so this is actually real. And then I seen one of your YouTube videos. So
yeah, and I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. You saw one of my Discord accounts. Yep. And then you asked me one question, and then like I just gave you the answer. But who do we have in here? We have the legend himself. We have
yes, sir.
Sports Fury. We got Joshua Fury from the Sports.
Let's
Fury.
go, man.
How are you, man? How are you doing?
Josh in the chat, man. Hey, the Bears gonna be worse than the Eagles this year. Wait, what? Anyways,
Yo,
guys, let's just forget that comment, and yeah, we can just yeah.
He is trolling already before he even starts. Man, trolling young. I am doing good, Josh. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. Having a really good day. I can't complain, man. This has been a fun stream, man. Hey, man. Hey, I didn't say anything, bro. That was just Hey, man. You didn't hear anything, right? You didn't hear anything. No one heard anything.
I didn't hear anything.
You were just talking about the Eagles, man.
I thought I heard him say the Eagles are going to be better than Cowboys. That's what I heard.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, but yeah. How are you doing today, Josh? And then wait. LGB says D-Hop might retire forced to get vaccinated. No, wait, what?
Yeah, he said if he doesn't want to get forced to get the vaccine, because they said if you're not if you don't get the vaccine, and if your team gets COVID, they're gonna make you. That's a loss. They'll make you.
Bro, I know. You said the Eagles are gonna be better than the Bears, right? What if this is Josh? I mean, what if this is Sean, bro? What if
Eagles
you said
better than Cowboys?
See, what if this is Sean, bro? What if this is actually Sean?
Well, what if this is Sean and he's defending the Bears and he's actually a Bears fan? And he's a fake Cowboys fan.
Hey, we might have to talk about that, Sean.
Hey, man. Hopefully it's not Sean.
Yeah, but where would you rank our defense this season, man?
I think our defensive line is gonna be good, but I don't think anything else like our secondary or our linebacker core will be top 10. I think our defensive overall is gonna rank maybe in the late teens, early 20s. I think that's what it should be. Yeah,
I could see that. I think our D-line is very consistent. We added Ryan Kerrigan to add to that already monstrous offensive line. We have Josh Sweat, we have Derek Barnett, and when healthy, Barnett is pretty productive. He just needs to work on a couple things to get better. And this is basically his proven year, so he has to shine this season or he's off the team. But it helps him this season because there's more guys around him to not see him by himself up there. So I can't wait to see our D-line. I would rank it around like top 15, top 17, top 20, something like that. I wouldn't say like top 30 because we're not that bad. Top 25.
Not that bad, but yeah, I say maybe we could be from like 18 to 20.
Yeah, I don't. I think our D line is gonna bail us out. Um, I saw that notification from the flight Mike. That D Hop could retire, man. If he retires, bro, bro, I'm not watching any Cardinals games this year. I'm sorry, bro. If D Hop's not out there, man, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, that's disappointing.
Yeah. But where would you rank our offense, man?
Offensively, I think we're going to be pretty good. We have a decent offensive line. We have a good running back core. We have a quarterback who has a lot to prove and a receiving core that's going to be very interesting. I think we're going to have a top 15 offense this year.
Could see that. Definitely could see that. So I know you're a big Devontae Smith guy.
Yep.
So other than Devontae, who was your favorite pick in this draft for the Eagles?
That's hard because I love Landon Dickerson, but I really like the Milton Williams pick. But it's not either of them. It's Kenneth Gainwell
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say that. I knew you were gonna
because
say that,
the
bro.
flexibility of Kenneth Gainwell, not only can he play running back at the backup running back, he can play as receiver, as he did in Memphis at college. He's an all-purpose running back, can play running back, can play the wide receiver position, and he's dynamic. He can make big plays, and if we develop him to a good running back or a wide receiver or just like that utility flex guy, the sky's the limit for our offense if he develops correctly.
Yeah, definitely could see that.
We
Uh,
got West Coast birds in the
yeah,
house.
we got Yi I Go up in here. He's like a co-host to Birdman 951 who just hit 200 subscribers today.
Oh, congrats to him, man.
So go show him some love. Oh, my lighting thing went down for a second. Let me put this back up. But yeah. What was your thoughts on Chris Sims' QB rankings?
Blasphemous. How do you have Jalen Hurts not in the top 40, but you have quarterbacks who have never played ever in the NFL top 40? No, that is complete blasphemous. That took away all my credibility for Chris Sims. If you're gonna put quarterbacks who have never touched an NFL field compared to a quarterback who at least has shown some NFL experience, no, you don't need to be making a list. You don't need to have your credibility in the sport of football if these are the things that you're gonna be doing. I don't understand. Chris Sims is usually actually a good guy. He doesn't say anything that's like outrageous, but this one was just it was just disappointing, and it was just honestly I didn't respect what he said.
This man had Jalen Hurts ranked 40, like 41. And then he had Kellen Mond ranked over him, who is the literal backup to Kirk
To
freaking
Kirk
Cousins.
Cousins,
Like, what? Like, what are we smoking here? Like, what? Like, come on now. How are you going to put him over how are you going to put him over Jalen Hurts when Jalen Hurts actually has 4 games in his resume? And he's
right?
actually played in the NFL, unlike Kellen Mond, who's the backup to Kirk Cousins, and is
Kirk
not going to see
Cousins,
the field. Like,
yeah.
but yeah, what was your? This is the last question here. What was your
Uh,
biggest takeaway from last year's big fluke season?
the biggest takeaway was well, as we all know, it was the end of the Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson era. It was the end of it. The last 5 years since 2016 to 2021, Carson Wentz was our quarterback and Doug Peterson was our play caller, and that was no longer after last season. The Eagles decided to start fresh after just a season that was just weird, honestly. Like, we've had bad seasons before, right? We've had bad years with Chip Kelly. That was, probably the second worst year besides last year. But the way we went out, see, the thing is with the Eagles, with Chip Kelly, as bad as he was, he every year he the end of the season, no matter how good or bad he was, the Eagles went out fighting. But the way we just quit in the last game, that was just out of character. we always at least try, rather we win or lose. But to just quit, that was just out of character for us. And right then and there, I knew no matter what happens with Carson Wentz, the fact that Doug Peterson quit, I knew his job was gone right then and there. I just knew it. You listen. Doug Peterson said in interviews after he got fired, he wanted to try to fix things. He was gonna fix the thing, but we can't rely on a guy who gave up. Like, and I know it was a Sunday night football game. You know, the Eagles had nothing to play for, but the fact that you just quit, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. You got to go out fighting.
Especially if that was the last game of his career as an Eagle, like just the last game as the Eagles head coach. He
Hmm.
should have known that he should have played better. He should have coached better than that. And to see the way it happened, to see how everything translated on that field, it's just shameful. Because we had so many pieces that could have helped us go make a run for the Super Bowl. And we did try it all. Before the season, we thought we were going to the playoffs. That did not happen. So
Yep.
yeah, it was a horrible season. But hey, appreciate you for coming on coming
Well,
onto the channel, MG.
yep.
One more time, give him a shout out. We'll go shout out your channel and also go. I put his Twitter links in the description, so go check him out on Twitter and also his IG in the description. So please go check this guy out. But one more time, tell him about yourself, man.
Hey, man. Like I said earlier, man, diehard Eagles and Sixers fan. You know, I'm starting to get more and more into baseball as well. Like I said on my channel, you see more than just Eagles and Sixers content. I try to show love to everybody's team. You know, try to talk about everybody's team and do live streams and videos for everyone's team. But at the end of the day, like I said, man, when it comes to my teams, I bleed green, and this was a fun collab, man. And like I said earlier, a lot of these collabs that we see around the Eagles community now is going to be normalized during the regular season. This might be a thing we could do every week. Who knows, though, man? This was fun, and hey, man, hopefully we get to do it again. And it's great. It's great, man. We're younger guys. You know, everyone else is like older. You
Hey,
know,
I consider myself immortal. I don't know what you talk about. I'm just playing. I'm
hey,
just
bro.
playing. I'm just playing. I'm just
But
playing.
yeah, man, it's just a lot. We're just two young guys. We just have fun, man. So hopefully we'll be able to do this again, especially during the Eagles season we got coming up. So, hey, man,
Hey,
this might not be the last time you guys see me on this channel. So appreciate everyone for stopping by and just coming and hanging out with us and having fun.
bro, this man is putting LGB is putting some smoke signs in the chat. I don't know what that's supposed to mean.
Uh,
You're high. That's what he's talking about. Big Fritz because Big Fritz thinks the Falcons are going to be better than the
oh,
Eagles.
okay. And Josh said, "Good job." Hey,
Yes,
appreciate that, Josh.
appreciate you, Josh. I really do. Anytime I get you on my channel, like you just talking in the chat, I really appreciate that. You don't know how much that means to me. You are one of the biggest inspirations to me. You are like the goats of the community. You and Sean just making those live play-by-plays and um just doing awesome work for your guys' channel.
Yep.
Appreciate you for coming on, MG. Everyone who's in the chat, please like one more time, subscribe, check me out on Twitter and IG, and we also had like 24 likes on the stream, so
Hey, there we go.
that's amazing to me. But thank you guys for watching, and me and MG are out. Peace.
All right.